Well, how has your schedule recently changed due to the coronavirus outbreak pandemic? How are you and your family surviving? How are the things by your local government for closures and shutdowns? I really didn't want to have to talk about that here on my channel, but we are living the reality where we need to share with each other and know that we are not alone. I've walked outside, I've watched the early signs of spring, the trees forming leaves. I've picked things up, I've looked at acorns that have lingered in my yard all through the winter months. I've walked my dog countless times. I've shared tips for coronavirus tips for around your house. I have shared where we have taken extra precautionary at our home, the things that we've done to keep from germs spreading. I even did venture out one day to go to the grocery store. I made a master list of things that I could foresee that we would need in any time in the future. Not in a hoarding or overstocking manner, but just in a manner to keep us afloat. Out on that journey, I watched a guy remove locked keys in a vehicle. I shared one of my tips on how handling working from home for the past 16 years, and that would be to get dressed every single day. Do not stay in your pajamas. Getting dressed for the day as if you are going somewhere, even if you just solely work from home all day, because I've seen so many people struggling with the new era of time of being at home, and for somebody like me who have been home for a very long time, it's working out pretty well for me to share tips. Someone even asked me if I had cabin fever, and I said absolutely not. This is normal for me. And I've even shared words of encouragement on my Facebook. Today's journal entry is entry 31 and 32. As you have watched this far, I have been looking through each item in my small little drawer there to the left and placing these pieces onto this page, getting ready to glue them into place. I say every time that I had so much fun creating this, or that this is one of my favorite, but I have to say it again. I've really enjoyed this page. Even looking back over it, the layout of everything and the little bit of color. I just really think through completing this journal, I have found my little groove of how I like things situated and the placement. So that is one reason I encourage you to start a journal, whether you hand make the journal, which this journal was handmade. If you have not seen that video, I will put that in the upper right hand corner of this video where you can go and watch that. But you can create your own journal, hand bound it yourself, and basically you just need paper scraps or other materials that you like, and you can bind it together with Mod Podge like what I'm using, or some other sturdier glue that you may have on hand. But if you're not up for making your own journal, binding your own journal, you can always use a mixed media journal or an old book. But whichever journal you choose to do, I encourage you to start the process from the very beginning and go all the way to the end. Do a little thought process ahead of time and have some materials collected in advance, kind of like what I have over there in my drawer, And the reason I say do this is because it will help your process. For every time that you sit down, you'll have items available to where you can, create on demand. And as you work through and you complete the journal, there's just so much joy in knowing that you've started something, that you've completed something, and you will actually learn a lot about yourself along the way. You'll learn a lot about your creative self, and your workflow will begin to flow really well. Everybody's will be different, and you will notice different things about yourself versus what someone else may. But that little orange sponge there that I'm working with right now came out of a box that was delivered here. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, first of all, I like the color. Second of all, I like it because it's a lot of texture and it's kind of thick. It's thick, but not too thick. And so if you've noticed throughout this journey of following me through this journal, you'll notice that I like long strips like that. And so the slender orange would just seem fitting for me, especially for this page. Making use of those stamps once again on this page and the page there next to it. That's gonna about do it for today, my shiny friend. Thank you for being here, and I will see you next time.